This movie could have used a lot more Brad Pitt. Talking about The Lost City now, Alonso and Christy here. The latest with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum and lots of beautiful people. What's it about?
Hey, remember that movie, Romancing the Stone? It's basically that, but not entirely, but mostly.
The world's sexiest cover model, Dash McMahon!
You do know you're not Dash, right? Dash is a character I made up. Dash! Oh my God.
Sandra Bullock is a romance novelist. She's actually a historian and archaeologist, but the only way that she could get her book sold was to tart them up with lots of bodice ripping. So that's what she does. But she's kind of getting sick of it. Her cover model Fabio is Channing Tatum, who mistakes himself for the hero of these books. Daniel Radcliffe plays a billionaire who is convinced that her latest book contains the secret of where to find the lost city of D, where he'll be able to find this legendary treasure. So he kidnaps Sandra Bullock and takes her down to South America to force her to help him decode this piece of parchment that he's got. And Channing Tatum pursues with the help of Brad Pitt as a former Navy SEAL who attempts to do a rescue, and things get wacky and big stars do silly things. And, you know, it's cute. It's fun. It's very slight, but it's got a really terrific supporting cast of really funny people like Divine Joy Randolph and Patty Harrison and Bowen Yang. So yeah, it's fun.
This movie could have used a lot more Brad Pitt.
Sure, yes.
As most things could.
Most movies could, yeah.
Loretta Sage, getting you out of here.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman.
It's real slight, but you know, it mostly works.
So I laughed quite a bit. You know, when they have nice banter, they both have really great comic timing, Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. And
yes,
and what they're doing with each other is always snappy, always fun. It's so derivative. It's such a throwback to those kinds of 80s adventure comedies, which feels themselves like throwbacks to stuff like The African Queen. There's a little bit of fun in the meta knowing blending of her writing this stuff and it coming to life. And the whole opening is clever with her like envisioning herself and Dash, Channing Tatum with his terrible blonde wig in some situation, and just the whole process of writing and how it's almost like a breaking of the fourth wall that occurs with her second guessing herself. She's such a master of physical comedy that, you know, something simple like trying to sit on a stool or trying to get out of a hammock, you know, is very elaborate and very fine tuned in the subtle little physicality of it.
Yeah, there's a whole running gag where she spends much of the movie in this terrible sequined jumpsuit that she is constantly having to deal with. And so it provides for a lot of the comedy. But again, even the writing the book stuff is right out of Romancing the Stone. And one of the things that makes that movie such fun is that you know, Kathleen Turner has such an arc in that film where she's so like kind of frowsy and housebound and, you know, meek, and then by the end of the movie she really kind of comes into herself. And Sandra Bullock never strays too far from like the Sandra Bullock character. So even though she's kind of in the dumps and, you know, mourning her dead husband at the beginning of the movie, she's not so far off from where she winds up in the film. So there's less of that sort of journey to take. Here's how I think about this kind of sort of very flimsy, very like, it's a lark, but this movie. But remember in a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving where Snoopy blows the one dead leaf in the air for a long time until it lands in the pile?
Okay.
Movies like this, you have to do a lot of to keep them aloft. And there were times where this gets like dangerously close to the ground and then it would like, you know, pick up again. So it was, look, if you are ready to go back to the movies, maybe you haven't been in a while. Like my first movie back was The Batman in IMAX, maybe not the best idea. This is a perfect sort of like light, you don't have to think about it, escapist, goofy entertainment with attractive celebrities you like being goofy.
That is true. It is, yeah. If you don't really want to think too hard, if you just want the escape, it is fine. It definitely works better as a comedy than as a romance.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, the romance feels very forced, and I did not need the spelling out of what happens at the end. I didn't need
Oh,
that. Their
there's
chemistry is fine without that.
There's a final sequence where I'm like, wait, is this the next day or is it 2 years later? I'm not sure.
I think time has passed.
Yes, but in a lot of ways they behave like it's the next day. It's weird.
Yeah. And Channing Tatum is always good at making fun of his himbo image. There's so much more to him than that. And he gets to dance here, which is always charming. So if you want shirtless dancing Channing Tatum and you've already seen all the Step Up movies,
I think Chris Hemsworth is the king of like hilarious himbo, but Tatum's very good too.
And Brad Pitt also in that same vein, hilarious, looking good. Anyway, so I'm saying 6.2.
I said 6.6. It's, it's fine. I'll tell you, if I've always said that Sandra Bullock in Practical Magic is like one of the best movies to watch when you have the flu and like it's on HBO and you're under a blanket on your sofa and you're like half zonked on NyQuil. This is along those lines of, this is how it will live on, I think.
It's your new flu movie.